True or false, Kira? Psilocybin has been proven to create new pathways in your brain, in your mind, so you can problem solve much more efficient. And they've also been proven to help you battle depression and burnouts.
True, baby, true. Welcome back to another episode of Breaking the Burnout Cycle. My name is Kira.
I'm Oscar.
And together we are the Vita. We flopped on that one, that's fine. Today we are bringing you another episode of this mini podcast, and today we are going to be focusing on psilocybin and how curating inner vision is the way, and a really potent way, to expand external success, not excess success. So accessing inner vision as a pathway to expanding external success.
That's
Oscar,
correct.
give me the 3 hot points that we're going to be covering in this episode.
Okay, so we're going to talk about the neuroscience and psilocybin. We're going to talk about how you can integrate as a leader, and we're going to talk about what's the third one?
Transformation.
Transformational potential.
Yes.
Exactly.
So talk to me about the neuroscience of psilocybin, and let me just preface, the reason we want to talk about this is because we know a lot of people think psychedelics and they think hippies in the 60s kind of laying around smoking weed, staring at the trees and not doing much else, and there's a time and a place for that, but we're here to empower leaders. So talk to me about the neuroscience.
Okay, let me just give you a quote from Steve Jobs saying taking LSD is one of the most important parts of his life, one of the most influential things in his life, hands down.
Wow.
Made him realize that creating something good was more important than creating money. And lo and behold, he did both at the end. So the neuroscience between or around psilocybin, it's just being started to be studied again. It was hushed down in the 60s because the war on drugs. And what they have started to see now is that when you take these substances, you create new pathways in your mind. So the transmitters in your mind fires up, new connections are being created. So your ability to problem solve is increased. Your ability to empathize with other people increases.
Empathize.
Exactly. Your ability to disconnect or dissolve the ego, the classic ego death that you've probably heard about, is a huge part of this externalization of the mind, or the turning of your gaze. So you get 2 eyes to see, but one to look with, and that inner vision is created so you can see problems that might have been hidden before, and you'll be able to
find solutions.
And resolve things that previously you might have been even unaware of was a blockage on the road. So that's a little bit about the neuroscience.
And I'm curious because I think neuroplasticity is so interesting, and this, the way in which we develop or expand our minds from a, practical perspective, as opposed to just like, whoa. So why would you say, Oscar, that neuroplasticity is important for leaders? Why is that something that's kind of sought after and useful?
It's literally the brain's or the mind's ability to recognize itself. So if you are running into the same problem over and over again, you can't find a solution. Neuroplasticity might be the trick that helps you to view the problem or the solution from a different angle. If you are run out and your brain is foggy and tired and overstimulated, neuroplasticity is literally what helps to heal the brain. So.
Yeah, and I think that's especially important for our leaders who are burnt out and in high stress situations often.
Indeed.
Because, a normal brain will struggle to find solutions from time to time, but an incredibly stressed one is going to struggle even more. So what you're saying is the neuroscience connected to psilocybin is that it offers this profound reset, which would allow you to access new solutions that you couldn't otherwise access.
Exactly. And emotionally, physically, and mentally resetting and rebooting the brain and the body.
Yeah, incredible. Okay, point 2, I'm going to check my notes. The transformation potential. So, benefits reported in clinical trials from anxiety relief to increased openness, reinforcing the potential of the return on investment. So, what would you say is the power when it comes to the transformational aspect of psilocybin, and why is that worth mentioning when it comes to this return on investment? Because, you know, obviously, if somebody puts time, energy, and finances into something, they want to know what they're going to get out of it.
Exactly. And I know a lot of people spend hundreds, if not hundreds of thousands of dollars on their weddings and, you know, kids being born, big happenings. And from the Good Friday experiment conducted when they took theologians, and
Theologians, yeah.
people, spiritual leaders, and they put them in an experiment where they were given psilocybin. Everybody that took part of the study reported that this was one of the most profound experience in their lives, and many people reported that they were similar to getting married or becoming a mother or a father. So the same sort of importance.
Sorry, slow down, because that's profound. Let me just clarify, make sure I understood what you said. There was a group of theologians who are dedicated to religious and spiritual practices.
Exactly.
Much more than the common person. It's their life.
Much more than common person. Spiritual leaders, so we have like nun, priests, people like that.
Who spend all day, every day, pretty much in dedication or service to
and maybe in search of that connection with God.
Exactly.
And each and every one of them said that that was the most profound spiritual and mystical experience that they've ever had.
When they took psychedelics.
Exactly. It opened this divine pathway. What's the governor that was on Joe Rogan recently? He spoke about ibogaine and the effects.
We know I'm not a memory dates and names gal.
Can't have been. I forgot about it, but he and his wife went down to do ibogaine. She had been on medication her whole life for mood swings, or since she became pregnant. And after doing the ibogaine, she quitted that as well. So he is now traveling around the world preaching this.
Spread the message.
Spread the message of like the potency and the benefit of what he called, quote unquote, divine medicine.
I would 150 million% agree with that. And I think that example that you just brought up was so beautiful of the theologians, because what could explain transformation more than divine medicine and like having a taste of, you know, the true nature of reality, the true nature of your authentic self. And maybe we could share just briefly some of our own personal transformations or insights from psychedelic experiences. What would you say has been the biggest transformation you've experienced? Because you are very well versed when it comes to psychedelics.
I would say a deep knowing that this world is so much more magical than I could have ever possibly imagined. I am in awe and in a deep reverence to the world around me since exploring these medicines, filled to the brim with gratitude, and knowing that we're not alone. There are higher powers than us at play in this realm, and they have the tenderness of 10,000 mothers if you're willing to open up to them and be held by them and guided by them.
Super beautiful. And how would you say that knowledge and exposure to those realizations has, you know, that's the inner vision part. What would you say has expanded in your external environment as a result of that realization and those journeys?
My ability to dream big, my ability to be fearless, my ability to be more creative, more self-aware, more confident in myself, moving through this journey we call life, being externalized from the drama and the mood swings, the up and downs that happen through the day, through the week, through the month, through the year. So yeah, that's shortly.
Amen, brother. Amen. All right, last but not least, sorry, just conscious I want your voice to be heard as well. Integration for leadership and growth. So we've spoken about this a little bit, but could you talk about some practical strategies? So somebody that's listening to us now, maybe they've even thought about, dipping their toe in the water before, or maybe as a result of this conversation, they're opened up to the possibility. What would be some of the suggestions you would have for someone to kind of explore and start to explore this world in a safe and secure way?
I would say if you are ready to climb the mountain and you feel the calling, seek somebody out who has already done it, yeah, the two of us, and be guided by somebody that has traversed that realm and that has sailed on the seven seas, so to speak. They could be good to have a guide
Yeah.
on this inner journey, a safe space where you can feel held and explore it deeply. And once you have explored it under the guise or the guidance of somebody, then maybe for the neuroplasticity and the brain health, explore a little bit of the microdosing. There are different regiments, or what would you call it? Like Paul Stamets has a great regime. Check him out for microdosing.
Regime sounds so.
I'm pretty sure he incorporates lion's mane and niacin, which is overall just really good for both neuroplasticity, but also for blood flow in the body and
overall health and well-being.
Exactly.
Super nice.
So he's a really cool man to turn to.
And then I just want to kind of circle back to how this has the power to impact leaders, leadership. And if I might jump in here, I think psychedelics can offer a fantastic bridge between the personal and the professional worlds, because it will obviously expand your vision, your connection, confidence to yourself, your connection to all that is, which obviously cannot help but ripple into both your personal family lives, your aspirations, dreams, as well as into your organization, team cohesion, communication. I think there's so much medicine to be had from psychedelics. And I think from my perspective, one of my biggest realizations with psychedelics has been understanding what medicine actually is. Mm-hmm. Which is a facing up to, that which is imbalanced in the system. It's not just taking a pill and hoping for the best. It is you meeting yourself and being willing to kind of go through any discomfort and understand yourself at a deeper level, and then translate that understanding into daily life so that, you actually experience change. And I think true medicine is about the individual becoming empowered as part of their own healing or wellness journey, as opposed to handing that power over to anybody else. And I know that that's something we're really passionate about in terms of guiding or facilitating for other people. We're just there to create a space and offer, guidance, but it's you and your journey ultimately at the end of the day.
True. When you have fully experienced inner vision, you will know what we're talking about.
You'll know what we're talking about. So that brings us towards the end of this episode.
Yeah,
and let's just thank you very much.
It's been a pleasure.
Stop cutting me out. Let's just close on that lasting thought to kind of keep with you, which is exploring the inner landscape or connecting to your inner vision as a potent pathway for expanding external success, because leadership begins within, not without.
Amazing.
Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you.
Thank you. As always, drop any key takeaways, questions, or interesting thoughts that have popped up while you've been watching this below. And we look forward to seeing you in the next episode.
Thank you.